one of the other things that I'm sure is going to come out of this moment in time is that, we're never going back to how things were. I mean, the one thing that will happen with all of this chaos and disruption, which I would argue is not done in any kind of good way, will have, ramifications for a really long time, but it will allow us to, come back with something even stronger, hopefully. Right. And it has opened up a conversation, let's say, around the size and scope and responsibility and how we deliver government services. And so I guess I wonder, from your perspective, you mentioned kind of that fact that you were graduating college, and this was not what people were thinking they were going to do. They're going to go to finance or go to Wall Street or whatever it was. How do we match this moment that is going to be very exciting, and in the sense of, we need entrepreneurial thinkers, we need people who can think about how we deliver services better, how we use technology to improve government services. There's going to be so many of those conversations happening. How do you think we get people coming out of college specifically to get more excited about going into these roles?
I would argue that they're already excited. They just don't know where to
Mm.
go. And I found that a lot as an undergrad, and I get outreach every single day on LinkedIn and in my inbox from folks who are seniors in college wondering if they're eligible for Civic Match and can use the platform to find state and local jobs. I think that is the largest talent pool that is outside of our eligible talent pool that we have tapped into with Civic Match, which is creating a kind of unified place where you can go and see state and local jobs across the country. And I think, again, it gets back to recruitment channels and marketing of these roles and actually making these jobs accessible to more people. I think that folks graduating from college today are more mission motivated than ever before. In surveys of Gen Z college students graduating from last year, the two most important factors were sense of mission and purpose and stability. The kids of today went to high school during COVID. They're going through college in this time of incredible turmoil, and they just want to be able to do something good and know that they have a little bit of security and stability when doing it. And so government has all of the things that they're seeking, and it's a matter of just getting the roles in front of these students, and in part being able to hire on a timeline that makes sense for kids coming out of college. And part of what gives finance and consulting an edge is their ability to hire a cohort of students in October who get to start in June, and they make the timelines really attractive for those who are, again, just looking for some kind of sense of stability and an idea of what they're going to be doing when they graduate. So, long way of saying, I think the energy is there. I think we're feeling it now more than ever. People really want to do good, meaningful work. It's just a matter of reaching them.
Well, and maybe flipping the question on its head a little bit, is someone who works with state and local elected officials, and who I know are a large part of our audience for this podcast. What advice do you have for them in reaching those people? You've talked about marketing a little bit. You've talked about, I think that's a really interesting. You just think about timelines. If there's a way to think about timelines better, what other tips do you have for people who are trying to recruit and then eventually retain these great young workers?
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things you can do is just form either formal or informal partnerships with local high schools, community colleges, and universities. It's a great way to reach students, is where they are. You have to start recruiting early to be able to capture them. And so finding ways to, whether it's do a lunch and learn at a community college or join a career fair or recruitment event, it really does matter to be able to go meet people where they are and explain to them why it's so great to work for your office or to work for the public sector. And then for larger institutions, universities that have career centers or internship programs where they may pay to send a student to your office for the summer, make sure that you're just aware of and taking advantage of those things in your community, because it's not just a great opportunity to have a funded intern for the summer, but to develop a young person who may want to actually step into a career in your office or in public service longer term. So I think that's a great place to start. The other thing that's huge is just making sure that you and everyone you work for can clearly express the value proposition of doing what you do. It seems very simple, but as I said with our Civic Match live events, the folks who can give the tightest, most compelling 1-minute pitch are the folks who have the largest breakout rooms. It doesn't matter if they're located across the country from where someone thought they might want to work. The ability to say, this is why I do what I do, this is why it's great to do it here, here's how you can do it too, is bar none the most compelling way to bring people on board. And it's a very simple thing to think about and talk through with your team and really kind of refine to make sure everyone can give that pitch.